What up, y'all, and welcome back to another Thai Talk. I know it has been a long time, too long, but I am back and I think I got something special for y'all. Welcome to my top 10 TV shows of the decade.
I figured making cakes and cookies was better than getting shot.
You think I'm scared of death? I've done it a million times. I'm fucking great at it.
What'd you do today? For our family.
Promise me you're not here to sow discord in the fields of my peace.
I just kicked your ass. And you didn't just want it, you begged me for it.
Our daughter is gone!
No! Fuck!
I want to see him. He deserves to hear my side of the story. He's my son! He's not! He's mine!
How's that working out for you? Can't be that great if you had to haul your broke ass on the megabus to beg for my help.
I am not going to bend. And that's the problem.
I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger.
We don't honor our father by having strangers serve those grieving. We serve comfort food to those who need comfort, and we do it with our own hands. That's how a family does a repast.
So before I get into it, let me tell y'all where I'm coming from and what my thought process was. So these may not be the most critically acclaimed shows of the decade, okay? These are the top 10 most important shows to me. So the ones that I felt like that I had to get home and watch every week or stream when they drop. So with that, I may have a few hot takes that y'all may not necessarily agree with. So I think my top 3 are very quality that I don't think many people can argue against. But the rest of my list, y'all may be looking at me a little funny, okay? Also, you may be thinking about, oh, I excluded some shows that you really think should be up there. But again, these are my favorite shows, and so there may be a few that will be on your list that wouldn't be on mine. I'm not coming to this blindly, right? These are shows that I love. And so I always believe in the thing of if you love something enough to critique it. So I am going to critique these shows. I'm going to point out what went well, what didn't go well. I'm going to talk about the characters I liked, the characters I didn't like. If there was a whole season that was kind of I'm going to talk about how bad that season was. If there was a season that just blew me out the water, I'm going to talk about that as well. But at the end of the day, these were all shows that I loved this decade. Before we get started, I just want to give you a few of my guidelines for choosing my list, and also go ahead and let you know for some shows that you might as well go ahead and look for not being on my list, okay? I am not a horror person, okay? I don't really watch horror movies. I don't watch horror TV shows. So you're not going to see American Horror Story on my list because I don't watch that. I'm also not a big comedy person as well. So there is one comedy that made my list. But other than that, the rest of them didn't even get close, okay? So no Atlanta, hot take, I know. But it's not going to be on there. There's some really quality shows that I haven't even seen yet. And so even though they may be really good, I can't put them on my list. Like Mr. Robot or Snowfall or The Handmaid's Tale. I'm not able to put those on my list because I haven't actually watched them. I'm going to talk about the criteria that went into the shows that I picked. It had to be a show that premiered and started in this decade. So if the first episode of the first season was before January 1st, 2010, it didn't make my list. So I know that leaves out a few shows that a lot of y'all like. So, like Breaking Bad, and didn't make my list. Grey's Anatomy, and you weren't gonna make the list anyway, but you was out of the time. It also eliminates some shows that I really like. The only procedural drama that I will watch is The Closer.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Which the finale was in 2012, but it started in 2006, so it couldn't make my list. Probably a comedy that would have made my list was The Game, because I really enjoyed the first 3 seasons, which I just recently watched again, by the way. But The Game wasn't going to be able to make my list because it started in 2006. The other hardcore rule that I had in place was that the show had to at least have 2 seasons. So, for a lot of you that like Euphoria, it didn't meet the qualifications for my show. The specials like When They See Us, 4 parts, it wasn't able to make my list as well. And even though I love Watchmen right now, Watchmen can't make my list because it's only in season 1. Those are the rules that I took for in making my list. I am going to give you my honorable mentions. Because of course, y'all know, I'm very indecisive. So I just had to have some shows to include in my honorable mentions. This segment will be talking about my honorable mentions. So these are great shows that I was invested in, but they just happened not to make my top 10, okay? So yeah, we're going to get into it and break it down and let you know what I thought. This won't be as in-depth as what I'm going to do with my top 10, but I'll give you a little piece of what I'm thinking. So my first honorable mention that I'm going to talk about is Stranger Things. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you that I was late on this show. As I talked about earlier, I don't really like horror things, and so this just seemed really demonic to me from the beginning. When I was just seeing trailers and promos where I was like, I think I'm gonna stay away from it. And then this past summer, a lot of people were talking me into it, so I was like, I'm gonna give it a try. Like, I think it got one of the best opening sequences and theme songs right now, which is pretty good. I think there was like a good emotional story. Like, there were characters that I was able to connect with, either like the parents as in Joyce. I was able to connect with Joyce pretty well, some of the children as well, and then you got Nancy there too. So it's been a show that I've really enjoyed. One of the moments when I knew that I was just in this show, that I was invested in, I was like, yes, this is a show I'm gonna watch. Happened in season 1. Little slight spoiler, but I'm not gonna tell you what happened. But there was a scene with Joyce and some Christmas lights, and I was like, wow. It was a little emotional. It tugged on my heartstrings some, and I was like, yeah, this is a show. I'm in this. I watched it this summer, flew through the first season, and then we get to the second season. There was a side plot with the character 11 and I was like, what is the point of this? Why are we watching this? Why did y'all write this? And it just really, the whole season just really took me out the show. That by the time I finished the second season finale, you know, the third season had already been out and I didn't even want to watch it. I'm bored of the show now. I don't like what it just did. But then finally I gave the third season a chance. And the third season was really good as well. I think the last 4 episodes of the third season are probably some of the best episodes of the entire show. If I'm gonna rank the season, I'm gonna still put season 1 up above, and then the season 3. But yeah, Stranger Things is my first honorable mention. My second honorable mention is Westworld. I know some of you probably thinking, if you've ever watched Westworld, and you probably thought the same thing with Stranger Things, like, oh, these deserve to be in the top 10. But let me tell you about Westworld. Westworld came at a time for me when I was like, I really was only interested in watching quality shows. I was like, I'm not wasting my time on shows that aren't good. Westworld just met all those expectations. It was quality, it was really good. That first season was some of the best TV I have ever watched. A couple of big reveals in the season finale that just was like, okay, these are like this is really good. HBO has done it again. So yeah, I was all with it. Maeve, played by Thandie Newton, incredible. Just an incredible performance. It got my girl Tessa Thompson in it. I love her. Anthony Hopkins, then Jeffrey Wright. They all put on some phenomenal performances. And then here we go to season 2. Now, I've dealt with a lot of shows that have sophomore slumps, and this was definitely one of them. The season 2 of Westworld I just don't get what they were doing. It's almost like they had bit off more than they can chew, that they was trying to upstage season 1 so much that they just did too much, and it was just all over the place. The acting and performances was still well, but the story was not as engaging. The fact that I did not like season 2 until near the end, like episode 7 or 8, was very concerning. But that's why it only made my honorable mentions. It only has 2 seasons, and it just didn't quite get over the hill for me. Alright, so the next show in my honorable mentions is Arrow. Now, I know y'all like, not Arrow, a CW show? Yes, and the CW show made my honorable mentions. Albeit that I would just have to do it because it would deserve to be on the list because of what it sparked. If you don't know, Arrow started on the CW in about 2013 or 2014, I believe, and it is now in like its 8th season. But from that show have sparked like 5-6 other shows, y'all. It has literally sparked its own MCU, but on TV. You have Flash, you have Legends of Tomorrow, you have Batwoman, you have Supergirl, you have Black Lightning. Like, all of those came because of Arrow. The first season is really good, and you know, for CW has an element of corniness in all of their shows. Arrow was able to beat that. First 3 seasons, quality, and then in the 4th season, started going downhill. And for me, that was a trend with those CW shows. Not even just other shows in the Arrowverse like Flash, which literally season 4 was like downhill for me too. But even like the 100 and things like that. So I think CW has to do a little bit better once they get farther into the series. But Arrow is definitely one of my honorable mentions of the decade. My next honorable mention is Suits. It's about this man who is being a lawyer. So he had went to Harvard, but he had to drop out, I believe. He got hired at this top-notch law firm in New York, and it's just really following the ups and downs of this law firm. So some of the performances and the actors are really good in this show. Jessica Pearson is probably my favorite character, played by Gina Torres. She's just like a boss in this show. Your Black Princess, Megan, was an actress in this show. She actually played the love interest of the main character. Things kind of took a shift when first Jessica Pearson, the character of Jessica Pearson, left the show, and then one of the main guys left the show, Mike, too. So the show kind of took a turn then, and I'll be honest, I actually stopped watching it. I do believe it's in the final season or just completed the final season. It's a USA show. I believe if you got Prime, Amazon Prime, you can watch all the seasons of the show. Now the next honorable mention on my list is Black Mirror. Now, Black Mirror is an anthology series on Netflix. So essentially, it means that for them, every episode is a different story with different characters, different actors. And all of it revolves around how technology can have a negative impact on our lives. So it has some really cool technology in it, and it shows kind of the ways that we as humans can interact with that, and then some of those repercussions and consequences from it. I'll admit that I was late to this show. I believe the show started as far back as like 2011. I just started watching this show about a year ago. And what happened was I don't know if y'all learned about it, but one of its episodes, it came out with like a movie, a Black Mirror movie called Bandersnatch, where you could actually choose what the character in the movie did in certain parts of the movie. So it was really unique for Netflix. Honestly, I did not like it that much. But then I had some friends that were watching Black Mirror, and what they did was gave me a list of episodes that were good to them. I went through the different seasons trying to find those episodes that was on the list that my friend gave me, and I will recommend The Whole History of You. The Whole History of You, the reason I like it the most is because I think it's really emotional. It's about if you can, most people have this device implanted into their eyes that help them be able to rewind and record every interaction that they have. So everything that they can see is being recorded, and they can go back and rewind and look at it. So just think about what kind of problems that could bring up, right? I would also recommend Nosedive, which is probably my second favorite. Nosedive is about social media. Your life depended on what kind of rating you had on this social media. I would probably recommend one of the newer episodes that came out this past season, Striking Vipers. Maybe check out White Christmas and Black Museum as well. I'll leave a list in the description of the video of the ones I've seen and liked so far. But yeah, I really think you all should give Black Mirror a try. So my last honorable mention is a gem that I found this year, and it's called Elite on Netflix. Elite will put you in the mind of how to get away with murder in a sense. It takes place in Spain at this elite high school where one of the students was killed. And then it really kind of like walks you back through what led up to this killing, to the murderer is revealed near the end of the season. How they did the plot was a little bit more intriguing than How to Get Away with Murder actually. And then the big caveat is that the show is in Spanish.
La pólvora se junta con el fuego.
Solo puede pasar una cosa. Explota.
Boom.
¿Quién fue?
No sé. Esto no es un puto juego. ¿Tienes alguna pregunta más?
Now, don't let that sway you from watching the show, okay? There is an English dub, but I will tell you, the dub is horrible. And when I say horrible, I mean horrible. Like, the English dub don't match any of the emotion that the actors are giving. And so I think I watched like 2 or 3 episodes in the English dub, and I was like, I really like this storyline, but this dub is trash. So I stopped and I watched it in Spanish, and I just read the captions, and it was so much enjoyable. Even though I had to read the captions the whole time, because the story is that intriguing, y'all. I'm telling you, the story is that good. And it's also a really good discourse and dissection about class and privilege in Spain. You know, like here in America, like really like one of the biggest things is race. But it didn't seem like that in this show, or at least that's not the environment that they've created. It's showing a thing where class is actually really the biggest factor in determining the lives of these individuals. There are 2 seasons, and then they've already started filming or have filmed or finished filming a 3rd season, which I'm looking forward to. But I really encourage you to watch Elite. I also encourage you to take a step out of the box and watch it in Spanish and not the English dub, because I'm telling you, there's so much emotion that is lost and so much impact that is lost from the portrayal of the actors because of how bad the dub is. But yeah, those are my honorable mentions. Would love to hear your thoughts. I'll see you back when I start my top 10.